say kame akoyese se wonam social media so na se wonam months so a asemba kwa eda nipa dodo na ano ene the new force Jacob Caesar ne conventional na obeye wo Independence Square aban no etwam no eno ho asem na kame akoyese se no obi biara eka ene nsem bia ekeka ho ma me ma wakwa aba emfa Embrasium Channel TV so Ghana News just nsem anene ya boabo no se muni asem se fam besumo se Ghana News just e was CM Channel TV so mpacha wa join ya like comment na subscribe na so share efa emame kamia koyese enche ye bia anasa wona memontene so na kamia koyese hu signboard akesie bi na nnam ho na nde obi a enanimu ebom nanso nanimu eni ho na kire se de ade akata nanim dade ayi akata nanim na na ya kira se the new force na enumu ana ede insemisa bebre every Ghana fo a at long last nipa nankasa oye oda picture nimu no eba abonten ebekire mu se yo no a eye Jacob Caesar na o kire ma kira kamia koyesa allegedly no bra na oye the press release no aban no stop no he was interrupted and then was say or pause and release an all yeni na sanso eba say ne conventional na was say or yeah Independence Square yeah this month no and also aban no asanso a cancel na and so abaye kasa bebra eda nipa binumo ano a yenka ne say was supporting the new force na encheye ana Afia Schwarzenegger eba bonten ebe cheche mu kire se kamia koye se Ghana hanum no yete da se abraso ani ama ya home ne so na che se ye di akire anisa hwe ana yankoye na nkoye ate se na mo afi se Jacob Caesar ya yeka ne ho asem obetimi abaye te se na mo an be se wa ye hu bebi a gold investment then investment bronze investment ba ye ana ye celebrity si ejine mu na nde bo hu no mu ye advert no mu so mato bi Afia ko wiase a aban no gu no asese no ebi mu anefa ho ehwe won enkwa ebi mu so ka fa ho ehwe won ejapade.
Now not all that greatest is gold. What now one was doing was so fraudulent, it was only idiots that couldn't see. You all fell for it. And now Akosi saying, and then now one Akosi saying, Musikano, when I was saying, press conferences, do was saying, why yeah? As the commission and I swear. Na one no kwane na mo eye di ope mo na di sika ni wieye mata ma boy we e kwa rebranding na one dia bra mo say ye hia salvation na ye hia salvation na obi an nka tan ni na ya fraudulent ono na ba dem ya salvation dan and na freedom anti mi amfa wonu ani din anko high Independence Square if he knew what he was coming to do was so genuine. Arise, Ghana youth, arise.
Na Afia Schwarzenegger edin nsem ye etu dwe ye na ye nim se eba ne social media there no man's land things also utimi de wadwentre ebeto ho oba ye friend Diamond Appiah obi ono so sinetwani a woto nyimo sanso business woman na on the maybe etwemu kakra ebe ya Afia etwemu no ye Diamond Appiah say wakoton asasi bi edi amobi a fraud na enumo anokopie mu court a okobo ne ho efo se odifo chese asem no enya no kre eninti court embeli no enumo ana court embeli ne 300,000 na ene ode ensem bi akotudwa wo chire ma chire se ono ankasa no se kamia koyese Jacob Caesar no ono ankasa Diamond Appiah wonimu no na wo chire ma chire won a eya won betna social media so ene wotna bonten so ede Jacob Caesar compare number 1 no enye sa krakra ana etie odokoto no Instagram wallpaper yenko na yenko kan embum or say all those comparing Cheddar at I Am Freedom to number 1 are jokers. Some of us know him personally for years now and he's nothing like that. Has anyone heard of these years that Cheddar has defrauded someone before. So why do Ghanaians always want to tarnish successful people's image with lies and pull each other down? It's really sad. And in summer, Diamond Appiah ede ekoto the social media platforms. So now Osha Nende, if you're Schwarzenegger, Anna, I'll reply no. If you're a crabby chumus, the Kamiko, if you're Schwarzenegger, any diamond, no more now for 4, and so assemble community by momentemo etin to say there quite a beef between if you're Schwarzenegger and a diamond lady, aka the boss lady. Now you call Jacob Caesar asam no so ene okopie mu ewo media house ba kwa or den convention no enchire mu ebetu dwa osanso echire ma chire se convention ne sika wasai no enye sika ketwa kra na ono kra na ka me akwaye se wonte ase de ntia aban no stopping no ana osanso ede botaya na anase botaya de ntia na obeye convention no ewo Independence Square ne senior or invite you to for if we yes sisters countries no young can say Peter obi mo eka ho like a titru for pa anana waka say wo na wo say wo be piem organ mem ha say na wo be support Jacob Caesar emano eye ne convention and Sunday ba ko share video no mamenka will say on the 13th of January 2023 the 3rd edition and auditions for the Ghana Student Most Beautiful. My pacho, we are mebunu ba na when so ho aso and answer. Oh, potentials not to become the next queen for Ghana Students Most Beautiful there. Then their omre and this is your time and don't miss the time. And it's number no chugu. I was screen as no betting your free office no. Now only more edin come one be a wobiano. 1 year 1 aka na Afia so. Obewinia achede bebre ana ewo ho ede ema auditions no ekoso ewo Crossmark market na tena ekese ewo Botiano ofri West Hill small junction Botiano that's the next junction hono ana ekoso betina odru a obetimi afre number na fire no na yamawo ekwan no ana ya cho kwan no na onso abetimi abeye auditions yenko na yenko show video no emba
few days ago. I mean, very well publicized event, the convention. On the day of this particular event, something happened. But before we even get there, let's get a clear understanding of the intent behind this, the convention, igniting the voices of Africa. What was the reasoning behind putting together this program that never was in the first place?
Thank you. Thank you. So I get inspiration from a lot of things. I get inspiration from poverty. I get inspiration from our leaders. You know, the past leaders, even the future leaders, I can see them. And I was looking back into the 60s, and I realized that the greatest people in the 60s were the likes of Martin Luther, Malcolm X, Kwame Nkrumah, Patrice Lumumba, and they all sort of always organized, you know, great people to bring them into one place, you know, and then send a message. And the message was like transcribed, transcended, you know, and became popular with a nation or a society. So I got that inspiration from the likes of Martin Luther, the likes of Kwame Nkrumah, and I said that let me bring the 60s back into the 20s. You know, I felt like it's been 60 years, and today the leaders of the youth are no more this sort of leaders, but rather musicians and footballers. You know, they have become the leaders, but they are stars, and we need to respect them as stars. So I decided to bring 4 of the greatest, or some of the most greatest voices currently in Africa together. And so I picked 2 from the as an activist, and I picked 2 as politicians. Okay, that's
Julius Malema and Professor Pielo Lumumba. You classify them as the activists?
No, Julius Malema is not an activist. I would say more as Dr. Arikana and then Pielo, more activists. But then when you look at the background of Malema, it's politics. When you look at the background of Peter Obi, he is the new face of politics, you know, how he caused a wonder within a year, you know. And so I decided to bring them together and then, first of all, you know, educate motivate, inspire the youth, the leaders, and talk about national governance, continental governance, the future of Africa, where we're going, you know, just to spark a new sort of audience with what they're looking for that they haven't been getting in the past. So I had to also mix the musicians, you know, to perform so it just doesn't become a raw speech. And I planned for the convention with my charity, which is the foundation. I planned
That's
for
the
that.
New Africa Foundation.
New Africa Foundation, because that's what we do. We have set up to be the foundation that builds nation. So we do different things. As you can see, we go to Turkey and we shelter them. We will go to Volta when the crises are there. We will shelter them. We'll give them food. You know, we will go to Chief Imam and try to bridge the religion between Muslims and Christians. So, you know, there's more peace in the country. These are the things that the charity does. And so I thought that regardless my ambition of running for president, it's also very important for me to bring such leaders into the country to highlight the country so the continent will see the country, the value of the country. They will remember that this is the first country that gained the independence in Africa. This is the first country that moved Africans to fight for their independence, and it's the same country that have started to speak about international continental governance, the future of our youth, talking about our resources, the human resource and the mineral resources, bringing it all together, and then sparking the spirits of these Africans up to realize that 2024 is our year to change our continent, our country, and our people.
Speakers that you brought together couldn't deliver the message that they came with. The objective you put this together was not realized, because on the morning, in fact, it was later in the day, on the 7th of January, that we got this letter, and we're going to put that on the screen right now, the revocation of the permit for you to use the Black Star Square for the Black Star Line Festival. That's what is on the screen. Then this came from the office of the president, revoking immediately the permission granted you per the letter dated 11 November 2023, which approved your request to use the Black Star Square for the above event. And the above event is Black Star Line Festival.
Great.
Now, they said the decision was because of some unforeseen state events scheduled for the same place and time of this particular convention event. And under the circumstance, they've refunded your 10,000 Ghana cedis to you.
Okay, so there's no such thing as this. If you bring the letter back down so we can get a clarity.
Let's come down a bit. Yeah, okay. The Black Star Line Festival. Is that the
Just bring it down. Yes. Okay. Yes. So first of all, my question is, how many offices do we have for the president in the country? Because it looks like it's 2 or 3. But if it's 1, then we have different information. So if you have a copy of our receipt and the letter and the permit that the same office, office of the president has issued for New Africa Foundation, I would like us to put it. Okay. First of all, excuse me. First of all, the receipt that we got is 30,000. So if the government is showing 10,000, it's minus 2/3. Is this how the whole country behave in everything that we do, with our taxes, with everything that we do? Because we pay the money, and you've issued us a receipt of 30,000 cedis.
You paid 30,000 cedis.
Yes, and then you have 10,000 cedis showing. We've also paid under the name of New Africa Foundation, and you've given us the permit, but you're using Black Star Line something. So why don't you bring us in
so
there?
This is it. So
this is
let's calm down a bit.
Okay.
So this is from the... So this has a request to use Black Star Square, New Africa Foundation, Diaspora Affairs. This is the office of the president.
This is the receipt.
Diaspora Affairs.
There's a letter. There are 3 documents.
Okay, we'll show all of them. They said, so this one says this is to acknowledge the receipt of payment for the Black Star Square venue to be used for a program for the 2nd to the 8th of January 2024. Payment details are as follows: use of the venue 5,000 a day for 6 days. Yes. 30,000.
Yes.
Service charge has been waived off because you didn't pay service charge. So you paid 30,000 for almost 7-day event.
No, it's not 7-day event. It's because you need 6 days to put up all the stages, all the work. So you have to pay for the days that you're going to be doing the work.
That's even the preparatory period.
Exactly. Okay. So they were aware from the 2nd and to the 8th. Of course, they knew the event is on the 7th.
Okay.
But on the 8th is when you tear down what you have put together. So that's really what it is. Let's go to the letter, please.
I see. So, but let's pull the letter out.
Can you come down a bit, because you see this is
so this is the temporary receipt.
Yes.
So this is from the office of the president.
Again,
it says this is a temporary receipt for payment of the Accra Independence Square venue for 2nd January 2024 to 8 January 2024.
Can I ask you a question?
An amount of 30,000 is paid, and an original receipt will be issued by State Protocol Department.
Yes. Can I?
And the person's name is there.
Yes.
So this was a temporary receipt.
Yes. Now, can I ask you a question? Do we think that there's another office that we have in Ghana that's for the president with the same stamp? Because, you know, I am kind of confused, and I'm trying to ask the nation. I want the nation to consider, you know, consider or put yourself in my shoes. Because, you know, I am going by the law. Pay me this, stamp, receipt, this, that, and then I go and invest $300,000 into an event, into something that will inspire the nation, the
spend
youth.
$300,000.
Yes, yes. And then they just come and tear it down. There's a letter too.
So this is the cash receipt.
Yes, and
New Africa Foundation. So that's the name you applied to use the place.
Everything.
For, not Black Star Line Festival.
No. There's
a letter. 30,000 CDs, rental of Independence Square.
Yes, and there's a letter that said that, yes, we have the place. So it's all there.
I was saying, Jacob Caesar, the video, and I could share at the buy, brow, which the match, they say, come here, question a conventional, na, and yes, what they be harm, like a betit you'll be, and I say, it bringing harm to the country, but it's for the benefit of the country. And inti, say, no, we are not vouching for him, but no this ana or de atudra and no now sika was say $300,000 not to say sika pudro papa eye I the mama cameraman arrangement obejai and unti wo chire machira e kamya kwese Ghana fo binimu esuro no like say no Jacob Caesar asem na kasa no it's becoming unbecoming, because to say no obechire mu dentia na convention obe held e wo Independence Square, but is there more to it? That is what people are acting. And Ghana News just and I CM channel. Everywhere more than past said, be because of the new force at my casino, and you deal with him a Jacob season. You bako shum, nene over beyond. You're born in bed near the astronomy. A cosia sparkles. My bet na kunya kissing. Now the moon chilling so. Abesom, Macau.